Murky with particles floating in it. That's how some people in Wisconsin describe the water coming from their faucet.
And as the I-Team's Courtney Garish found, a water supply can meet federal standards, but it still may not be safe to drink. Courtney.
Carol, contaminated drinking water has been making headlines across the country, but this is a problem you probably haven't heard about. Inmates at 2 Wisconsin prisons believe there's something in the water and say their complaints have been ignored. The I-Team found orders from the state to clean up the water at one of those prisons more than once in the past 7 years.
The metal, the flecks in the water, undeniable. Seen it 100 different times.
Carl Fields spent 15 years in prison, some of that time at Waupun Correctional Institution, where Fields says the water was contaminated.
I had to drink the water. There were no other options.
Released this past March, Fields is trying to raise awareness about what he calls consistent problems with the water. Water he says inmates were told is safe to drink.
I assumed what the memo said was pretty accurate. Let it run for a few minutes, it'll be all right.
According to Wisconsin's Department of Natural Resources database, in 2014, high lead levels were found in the water at Waupun Correctional, enough to violate the federal lead rule. It also shows problems at Fox Lake Correctional, high levels of lead and copper detected on and off for at least 7 years. Because of that, the DNR issued an order requiring Fox Lake to address copper and lead levels. A notice about lead in the drinking water is still posted above the water fountain in the prison's public area.
It's just unfair that they don't have the opportunity to consume clean water.
Beverly Walker's husband was incarcerated at Fox Lake when the water tested above the maximum level for metals.
I can't even bathe because the water is brown like mud or coffee.
Denied an in-person interview by the Department of Corrections, we talked to Barron by phone.
They could not wash the dishes. You couldn't use the dishes to feed us.
Afraid of repercussions, Walker filed an inmate complaint this summer after he was transferred to a different prison. It was rejected.
We second-class citizens, probably even less, and so nobody's concerned about us.
The DOC sent us this statement saying it's in compliance with the Federal Safe Drinking Water Act. But Madison chemical engineer Abigail Cantor says that doesn't mean water coming from every tap is safe.
The lead and copper rule has flaws.
Cantor helps water utilities comply with that rule and believes the EPA standard can miss high levels.
The EPA knew that no water utility could go to every building and every faucet in a system.
So it's designed to detect system-wide problems. 10% of all samples have to be above maximum levels to be in violation.
It's not a health-based system. It's not determining the risk.
Because the standard doesn't account for hot spots. In 2015, Waupun had one sample where the lead level was 8 times the federal limit. And in a 2-year period at Fox Lake, 10 individual samples were over the limit for copper.
This is not healthy at all. It can't be.
Fields doesn't agree with the DOC's claim the water is safe and hopes more people will start paying attention.
I say the people who are saying that, we should get a glass of water and let them drink it on camera.
Now, inmates do have the option to buy bottled water from the prison canteen, but say it's expensive and there's not always enough to go around.
Now, Courtney, in 2014, DNR ordered Fox Lake Correctional to fix or address its water issues. Has that happened?
Well, the DOC tells me it is working on it. The most recent round of lead and copper samples were below the maximum level. Fox Lake has until December 31st to collect a second round of samples. And it also now has a system in place that regularly monitors for these metals.
Thank you, Courtney.
Very eye-opening.